Hi guys, we are here after Mastery Chat. I have Ray again because she's awesome and she just loves to hang out with me. And we just finished up the Mastery Chat on making thinking visual. And it was a really cool chat. There were a lot of ideas. I actually, every time I'm in a chat and I see something, ooh, I need to look into that, I open a new tab and like I search it, right? Or maybe it's a link that somebody has shared. I think I have like 15 tabs open with things that I need to look into. So Ray, tell me how you're feeling. What do you think? How'd the chat go?
No, the chat was awesome. I couldn't agree more. I always do that when like something comes up. I always forget to save the tweet, but I always like copy and paste the topic and throw it in a Google search. Yeah. And it sounds silly, but there were a lot of acronyms that were thrown out today that I didn't know anything about.
Yes.
And you were really good at, I would like be reading the same thread as you and write the tweet after. You'd be like, can you explain this acronym? And I'm like, thank God somebody asked, because I have no idea what that means. But there were some great resources I have never heard of, which shows something that I don't think we talk about enough, Tiff. So I'm not trying to go off on a tangent.
No,
but we all live and teach in a bubble where you are exposed to what you choose to be exposed to. And if you just live within the network in your little district bubble, then that's what you're exposed to. It doesn't mean there's bad ideas there, but if you start then expanding your network, right, then you start to get to know that lingo. But there are so many things that I have no connection to that through Mastery Chat, I'm like, oh, another thing, like a completely different avenue to learn about.
Well, and that's really, we live in such an awesome time where we can literally just hop on our computers and connect with hundreds of people all around the world and just soak in understanding and find thousands of things that we need to look deeper in and further investigate. And I love learning. So every time something like that pops up, I'm like, tell me more. I need to know everything about this because I just really, really love it. Real quick, we have Jeff Kaplan, the fabulous Jeff Kaplan. So many new ideas. Jeff, I couldn't agree more. I'd love to hear what ideas kind of sparked your interest the most. Share them with us because Ray and I always joke, like we're in the same chat, but we're not in the same chat because we always come away from it with something different. So share your ideas and tell us what was especially interesting to you.
Well, and Tiff, there was a whole lot of people in Mastery Chat tonight.
Yeah.
And we say that, and like, yes, there's always hundreds of people in Mastery Chat, but there were more than that today. It was crazy. Usually, I feel like as a veteran Twitter master, right? I'm on Twitter twice a week at minimum, much less the time I spend every single day communicating with my network.
Yeah.
This chat was fast. So if this was your first chat, I applaud you for at least taking a chance on it because it was a quick one.
Well, and that's why we always say it's okay to just lurk. Like if you just sit there and like take in a couple ideas, don't say anything, that's okay. Do we want you to join in? Of course. Sure. But it's okay too to just kind of be like, whoa, as all of the information just comes pouring through your screen, right?
And I think that was a big point. This was a really new topic for me. So I lurked more than I tweeted, but I was getting a lot of information. So I thought it was very cool.
Yeah, I'd be curious because every week I kind of run a report of who the people that participated in the chat were. So I have like my finger on the pulse of how many people were in the chat. Last week, I think it was 170 people actively chatting. And that doesn't include anybody who just retweeted something or was just a lurker. And that's just really neat to me because there are so many people that are benefiting from this cohort of learners and it just grows every week. And I think that is so neat. Oh, I have to pop up this message from Andrea. Sad to have missed it. 8 months pregnant, fell asleep on the couch. Totally understand. I get it. You get your rest and sleep a lot. I get it. Totally fine. We'll catch you in a few weeks, Andrea. I'm glad you could join us for the recap.
We'll update you.
So, Ray, was there anything, Jeff said he has tons of new ideas to investigate. Was there anything you saw that you're like, yes, that I need to go look into it?
So two things. One's not serious and one is serious. Do you want the unserious or serious one first?
Let's go unserious.
unserious. I was in a fantastic Twitter like feed of people sharing dog pictures that I loved. Everybody knows. I mean, whether you like it or not, something that you're going to learn to love about me, people, is I love my dogs. I have 2 dogs, and I don't know how it started. Somebody started a GIF, and it ended with a lot of people sharing dog photos. Always a win for me. Always.
I'm going to have to find that and share Bella and Bob.
Oh, it was necessary. We had dogs of all different colors, all different breeds. It was a very ethnic group. It was great.
Nice.
Aside
hang
from
on.
all that,
we've got another comment from Jeff. I can't remember right now specific things. I have to go back and look. I know there were 2 that I really liked, but just too much. Let's have a show of hands of who goes back the day after or, a few days after to be like, wait, what? Huh? There was a lot of good stuff, but now I have to go back and actually, it's like when you're at a conference and you go to 10 great sessions and then 3 days later you go through your fun teacher bag that you got and you're like, right, that thing that I need to do. Yeah, definitely get it, Jeff.
The thing when that happens is to then purposefully set aside time to look into it, reflect on it, ask questions. My favorite thing to do is to then bring that new idea to my classroom, not by necessarily implementing something, but ask kids if they've ever thought about either wanting that or experienced it before. So
I love that idea.
Yeah. So even if you go to a conference or participate in Twitter chat, it's a very important step to take what you've learned and actually do something with it. Doesn't mean that you need to do it tonight, but go do something cool with it.
Yeah. Real quick, you have another thing that was significant or meaningful to you that I want you to share, but I didn't do this at the beginning and I need to because we would not have had this chat without our fabulous moderators. So let's give a shout out to Julie Woodard and Clint Wilcox. They are both from Texas. They're educators who love tech like me, and they rocked this chat. So thank you so much to you guys. You were awesome. And I think that there are a lot of people who really benefited from this chat tonight. So kudos to you guys. They couldn't be here live with us, but that's okay. All right. So, oh golly, I hit a wrong button. It's okay. I'm back. I'm good. So the other thing, because you said there was a serious and then a not serious, meaningful, significant thing from the chat.
Yes, honestly, I just loved seeing examples, really good examples of how people purposely implemented doodling notes. I use the grid method. My students work at their own pace. To be honest, I don't really dictate what their notes look like, but I do a lot of guided learning at the very beginning. And so I think the biggest takeaway for me was, okay, give me the tactical approach to how I can make those guided resources more friendly to this visual feel. And I did get that today because, I'm the typical teacher with the title at the top, and then you got the boxes with the information. I think it looks cute, but I really need to be doing more. And there were some really easy ways to start doing that like bite-sized pieces,
Yeah, I like bite-sized pieces. Hence the course Bite-Sized Mastery that I made.
Me too, of course. Interesting.
I do. Well, and that's something that we talk about a lot. You're going to find 1,000 great ideas wherever you're learning as a teacher. And you don't have to jump all in and do everything and change everything right away. Although that's kind of like my mode that I do, but you don't have to be like me. If that's going to be better for you to find like, I need this piece to get me started and then I'll go from there. Kudos to you. Rock on. Do that.
I have to say, Tiff, I was watching a documentary last week that like changed my life. But one of the pieces of this documentary was that we don't need any more Pinterest quotes, right? The quotes are great. We need the tactical approach to really mastering the things that we want to accomplish. And that was a cool piece of this chat because while it was visual and you saw these great pictures, there really was big takeaways, resources. Websites were huge, models, philosophies, they were really well shared. So if you're somebody who doesn't just always love hearing about the idea repeated over and over, but wants that tactical approach, this is a great chat for that.
Right. Absolutely. And that's something, sometimes Twitter chats can get a little bit too much fluff and awesome and excitement. And I love that, but you have to have the takeaways with it, and you have to have something you can then take and do with that chat information. And I really do like it. That's why I'm always in there saying, you need to tell me more. How do you do this? Give me examples, because I know that and it's hard, and however many characters you have on Twitter to get the full idea out. But that's why I always encourage everybody to ask follow-up questions. I have, I think, 5 different people that I screenshotted their tweet, and I'm going to send them a message when we get off this live recap and be like, hey, this was really cool. Tell me more about it. And it doesn't matter who you are. Like, you can do that too. You can just send a message to somebody and reach out. We have a couple comments. We have, look at that. Hey. Doing a self-paced lesson as we speak, letting kids move at their own pace right now. Not related to the chat tonight, but that is really, really, really awesome.
You know, I don't know if you know this teacher, but he student taught in my building, and he is an incredible educator that just wants to do everything possible to do well for his students. So I am huge shout out. Let me know if you need anything, because you're an all-star.
That's awesome. Is he still in Illinois?
He is. He's in Peoria.
Oh, so you can just get coffee and visit and all that good stuff.
We go to coffee every so often to hang out.
That's awesome. There was another teacher in the chat from Illinois.
Yes, from Arlington Heights, Julie.
I screenshotted her name, so you have to go have coffee with her.
I am going to her building at the end of this month for professional development, so I'll be there.
That's awesome. So exciting. We have one from Jeff Kaplan, too. Don't be afraid to try and fail. We all know what fail really means. It's meaningful for students to see us struggle. So not only, I mean, we sound like broken records sometimes, right? Like, struggle is good. Failure is the first step in learning, right? Like, you have to have those experiences, but then turning that mirror on ourselves and reflecting on the fact that we are learners just as much as we're teachers, and that we have to be okay with failing. You know, if you have this great idea and you go for it and it fails, okay, you regroup and you go back to the drawing board. But if you never go for it, then you never know what could happen, right?
I have to tell you the funniest story, and then we have to go back to Mastery Chat. But I was sitting in class today, because I was working with this whole slew of students, and they had to write. My students were working on writing ratios, and Kevin, one of my newer students in the past few months, comes up and goes, do you know how many students are in this classroom? And I'm like, no, why don't we count? So he's counting the students, and he's like, I think there's 22. I was like, you didn't count me. And he's like, you're not a student, you're a teacher. And the kid I'm working with, Adam, turns around and she goes, she learns new things all the time. She can be a student. And I was like, I'm like, you got it, dude. Done.
Oh, that is so awesome.
It's so funny. They're so
my God.
cute.
Was that just a moment that, like, you had goosebumps and chills and you were like, yes.
Yeah. Huge victory right there.
It. That's great. Jeff Gargis, said that Jeff's a rock star. That's awesome. He also told us that we are awesome. Why, thank you, Jeff. And then he said lots of Kansas City people in the chat tonight. And I actually had a conversation with somebody from Kansas City, which was cool because I was just in Kansas City a month ago. Really? I flew into Kansas City and then I drove to Pittsburgh, Kansas, and did a introduction presentation into mastery learning and the grid method and all that with a high school there. And that was cool. By the way, Kansas City, there's a place called Kansas City Barbecue. It was on like diners, drive-ins, and dives, and Anthony Bourdain went there. So yummy. If you're in Kansas, you should go. Yeah, it's going to be great. But so I have to look at my schedule and my calendar and see if there's a time I'm going to be in that area again, because I was like, let's get coffee. You mean we in that area so we can get barbecue? That's right. I mean, there's some kind of conference then, right? Jeff and Chad will send us, right? Yes. Yeah. Okay, so there's a couple things that really were cool for me in the chat and kind of made it so that I missed the last couple questions because I was so into these side conversations, which happens. One of them was an English teacher who was talking about poetry with her students. And hang on, backtrack. There was something cool that happened in this chat that I thought was really, really neat. You know, the questions were all very much about like visual in terms of like sketchnoting and graffiti walls and all of that, which was great and awesome. But the chat also kind of went in these other directions about how visual representations, whether they're a doodle or a sketch note or an actual like visual thing that kids can touch and do and feel, the chat kind of went in that conversation. And that was really interesting to me. There was a teacher who is an English teacher and working on poetry with her students, and like the structure of poetry, and how the structure of poetry is like the building blocks that then you layer all of these different things on. And she said, in my class the other day, there was a girl who was having trouble understanding. So we got up and we walked outside and we looked at the bricks of the school. And she said, the bricks are the structure of the poetry. And then there's paint, and there's all these other things that you add on, and that's the tone and the mood and the figurative language in the poetry. But the structure is the bricks. And I was like, yes, that's making thinking visual, whether it's a sketch note or an analogy that lets them see and touch and feel. Love it. So that was really, really cool.
Yes, I love that imagery. I know a lot of teachers that use building blocks to talk through poetry. Kim Bearden does an incredible construction unit about the structure of poems, but I love the even more so real world application of taking your students' building that they learn within and incorporating it that way. Super cool. Hey, Amber.
So we have
Amber works at my school. Well, Amber, not really, but she's in my district.
Your district. Hi, Amber. Okay, so two comments to pop up. We have Jeff Kaplan. I'm from Kansas City. I thought Jeff was in Georgia. Jeff's in Georgia, right?
No.
But he's from Kansas City. So here's what I think, because here's the chat the comment.
Wait, and Mark is Mark is listening, and Mark is from Illinois. We didn't include him before.
Oh, great. Awesome. I mean, Illinois is not that far from Kansas City, right?
No.
So, okay, I'm about to post up Jeff Gargas's comment. You ready for this? Because this is a binding contract that he is now committing to. And boom.
Done. Yes.
Done.
Answer yes.
Official. Jeff, I would like you to book that, please, and make sure there's a stop at Kansas City Barbecue, as well as multiple stops to see all the people who are apparently in Kansas City that we know and need to talk to. So it's going to happen. We're going to hold you to it.
Love it.
Okay, so real quick, yes, Jeff Kaplan is in Georgia. He grew up in Kansas City. Jeff, I'm curious, did you ever eat at Kansas City Barbecue? Because it's yummy, and you should have if you didn't. And then I love this comment from Mark. Great chat tonight. So much to think about, like taking a class on steroids. And you get to do it in your pajamas on your couch. So...
I had to say, Tiff, I know that we've digressed a bit, but just about Mark specifically. Mark is such an incredible teacher in Illinois, not to brag on Illinois. And I bumped into him once. I met him face to face, which was just so cool. Nice. And tonight, one of my favorite tweets, and I don't mean to be lame, but was another person on Twitter celebrating how cool he thought Mark was. And I just think that that's like so powerful when teachers celebrate other educators. I mean, even I'm getting messages on Instagram because I'm doing something separately there for our team on Instagram right now. And the time that teachers can take 3 seconds and celebrate one another, it's really powerful. So I challenge you that's listening, get out your phone right now, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or a text message. Like, go celebrate somebody that impacts you, because you can just make their day. And my day was made by somebody else celebrating an educator that I also admire. And I just want that to be a focus for us on this great Thursday on the new year. It's really important.
I love that. Well, and the simple act of reaching out and connecting. I've been writing a lot about connecting lately. A lot about connecting. I've got blogs, I've got chapters, I've got all sorts of things. And, sometimes we hesitate to connect because we're like, I don't want to bother them, or I don't want to, I don't want to feel too needy. Connect. Please connect. I mean, how many times have we connected with somebody who we might have thought, they're not going to want to talk to me? And they do, because so many educators just want to learn together. And I just think that's awesome. Amber says, no, it's not 6 hours road trip.
Done.
I like it. Yeah, I actually, we've been talking about a summer road trip for the Teach Better team to travel around and see everybody. And I'm going to make that happen, right? It's going to happen. So,
okay, that's fine. As long as we get a really big tour bus like Taylor Swift's, I'm in.
I don't know if that's in the, I don't know. Can someone donate that? And Jeff, I did. Yes, the Joe's Kansas City barbecue in the gas station. Super cool. It was awesome. So let's kind of circle back because we just sit here and talk about life and how awesome everything is. But the chat itself, if you guys are just joining us, just seeing this video or whatever, it's all about making thinking visual. A big topic of the chat was sketchnoting and visual note-taking, graffiti walls, things like that. We had Julie Woodard and Clint Wilcox, who are awesome, awesome educators. And we were talking about how this sketchnoting, visual note-taking idea really kind of branched into other areas of making meaning in different ways. And that was cool. There was also a lot of conversation about how students demonstrate their understanding. So a lot of the questions were about how you help students encode understanding by incorporating these visual techniques. But then there were several side conversations about not only using it to encode learning, but using it as a tool for students to demonstrate learning. And I am a huge fan of, I don't care so much what a student puts on a piece of paper. I care what they know. And at some point, is it important to be able to put what you know onto a piece of paper to share with others? Yes.
Yes.
But if a student has difficulty writing the paragraph about photosynthesis, but they can explain all of the steps and draw a diagram, visually express it, that's awesome. And it's all about opening up the way our students learn, the way our students encode information, and the way our students share information. That flexibility is so critical. Oh, hold up. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place tonight, right? Jeff has 2 better places to eat barbecue at in Kansas City. So
okay.
Jeff's going to have to help us plan our itinerary.
3 barbecue places we're going to in Kansas City.
We're going to be so saucy. It's going to be great.
Jeff, when we go, you're going to have to meet us there because we won't know where we're going.
Absolutely. Just hop on the tour bus, right?
Might as well. It'll be big enough.
Okay, so I think we could talk for hours and hours about barbecue and sketchnoting and how much we love our jobs and how much we think it's awesome when teachers connect. But I think we've talked people's ears off for quite a bit, Ray. So what do you say we wrap this up? Any closing thoughts that you want to share or last things that I've talked over you and I talk too much?
No, closing thoughts is just this entire chat was focused on purposefully using visuals. It is something that you can take in a very small way by adapting your guided notes or in a huge way by changing your instruction to be more visual. However you choose it, it was a perfect reminder that regardless of where you are in education, you have the ability to grow. And there were so many resources and philosophies shared. I just challenge you to go back and don't allow this to be the moment where you stop forgetting about what you learned tonight, but go take action. Even if the action is as simple as taking it to your kids in the morning and say, hey, I was learning about something yesterday. What are your thoughts?
What do you think?
Powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm checking real quick to see who our Mastery Chat moderator is for next week because I want to give them a quick shout out and give everybody
say one thing about next week. Next week, I know Mastery Chat is on Thursday. I am a part of a chat that's on Tuesday for hashtag Ames Network. It's for educators. And the only reason I bring it up now is because Kristen Nan is hosting, and she is a fabulous part of our network. We love Kristen Nan. So if you want to come support her, she's part of our hashtag Mastery Chat family.
Absolutely.
That will be Tuesday, hashtag Ames Network, 8 o'clock Central Time, which is 9 o'clock Eastern.
Nice. And she's the one who had her students and teachers in training come in and moderate the chat. And that was such an awesome experience. I really enjoyed that. Awesome. My computer is being really slow. And oh, wait, there it is. Next week we have Jennifer Wolf, and I believe she was originally talking about HyperDocs, but I think she sent me an email saying that she's going to switch that up and do something different. And then the week after, we have Brian Costello, who's talking about AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality, and how you can create virtually anything with that. So we've got a couple great weeks coming down the pipeline, and we've got a trip to Kansas City to plan, and we've got a million things to do. And we are so grateful that all of you came and hung out with us for the half hour we just chatted and for the mastery chat beforehand. So we love every single one of you so much. Thank you for being a part of this. All right. Bye, guys.